Creatives are by definition really, really powerful manifestors. However, what I see a lot is creatives using all of their creative power against themselves to hold themselves back because they haven't realized how to use it, how to allow the flow to come through them. And so in this video, what I'd like to do is bring some awareness to the ways that you as a creative may be holding yourself back and what to do about it, how to get out of your head and tap into your heart and understand how this works and how you can really take advantage of it. We as creatives have incredible power, and we are here to change, to create something that has never existed before. And if we're not actually showing up to do that, we're stunting the growth of this reality, this universe, and also the people around us. Hi, if we're meeting for the first time, my name's Shamini. I'm an artist, mentor, and healer for awakening hearts and conscious creatives. So if that sounds like you, I'm really happy you found me. Let's dive into this video where I'm going to share how the energy of abundance works and how you can tap into it, because ultimately I want to see more art in the world. I want more creatives to be tapped into who they really are so that we can transform and live in joy and bring all of our beautiful creations to the world and ignite potential and purpose and joy in other people. So as I talk about the energy of creation, I need to talk about the energy of abundance, because ultimately creation is abundant when we tap into the flow, the natural flow of energy, where nothing is destroyed, nothing disappears, everything is transformed. As creative, this is the power that we have. We get to transform things into something else. So to understand this, I want you to imagine the symbol of infinity that we relate to abundance, the figure 8 on its side, that flows like this. When we look at this symbol, we understand the idea of abundance and we understand the flow. But what we need to become really aware of and really integrate as a concept is that there is creation and destruction. That is part of the same flow. Everything comes and goes. It's cyclical. It is balanced. And there needs to be creation with destruction. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what needs to be destroyed in order for creation to happen. And as creatives and as humans in general, when we're kids, our subconscious mind is being formed. So we don't know how to be human. We look at the people around us and we actually think that they've figured it out. So we watch how they interact and what they tell us about the world, and we mimic that. And this is not just from a human behavioral level. It is very, on the neuroscience of it is absolutely fascinating. And I won't dive too deep into that. But when we're under the age of 10, we're basically taking everything in. We're not judging whether it's right or wrong or true or false or even good or bad. We don't know. We're just taking it all in. And then that becomes our subconscious programming. That becomes the lens through which we perceive and see the world. All of our belief systems are formed in that young age. And then we just kind of recreate the life that we think we deserve, that we think is available to us, and we've been told that we can have, and that is, within whatever the norm is that we were brought up in. A lot of the work that I do as a hypnotherapist, as a healer, with my clients is helping them understand where they're holding themselves back within those belief systems. And one of the things that always comes up is that we stop ourselves from stepping out of our comfort zone of what we've been told is possible. And we don't want to be rejected by the people around us, so we stay safe and we stay small. But as a creative doing this, it hurts us so much. It requires so much effort to hold back our expression and to keep ourselves small that often develops into depression, anxiety, addictions, all kinds of very destructive patterns, because we're using all of our energy to stunt our expression. A lot of the time people think that when we go on this journey of healing, the ultimate outcome is to be happy. It's not to be like happy as such, it's to be expressed expression and creativity is the outcome of a healed heart and emotional body. So in order to really get out of our heads, we need to understand what constructs, what we have been taught about the world, about ourselves, about what is possible. And we've got to stretch beyond that. We've got to prove to ourselves, and we've got to use our beautiful creative imaginations to create a vision of the future that we desire. So that comes from instead of using our mind against our creativity, we use it in collaboration with our creativity. And that's where things get really fun, because we get to tap into our hearts. We get to figure out what it is that we deeply want. And sometimes what we really want is something that we haven't even ever acknowledged or been able to tell ourselves or to tell anybody around us, because it feels so like we're not allowed to have it. So it feels like this secret of like, this is what I really want, but I can't have it, so there's no point, so I won't even entertain it. So a lot of the time people will say, I don't know what I want. And the truth is, your heart, your soul knows exactly what you want, but your head's like, I'm not allowed to, so I can't even go there. And we need to deconstruct those belief systems to tap into what the heart truly desires, and then use the mind to bring it to life. The energy of creation is a very feminine energy. It's a very magnetic energy. It is the energy of flow. It is the energy of fertility. It's the energy that we see everywhere in nature. It's cyclical in nature, and it goes around and it comes around. And this constant construction and deconstruction, creation and destruction, is a very potent cycle of feminine energy. However, what tends to happen is that in the world that we've grown up in, there has been a suppression of the feminine. It's a very intentional suppression of feminine power, which has given rise to a patriarchy, which is not conducive or helpful for anybody. This is not about men versus women. This is about masculine energy being dominant and not being supported in the way that it needs to be by the feminine. So men, women, and the whole of society, the whole world is suffering from this imbalance. And I believe that the way to bring this back into balance is not by going out there and telling other people that they're wrong and they should be doing things differently and getting angry about it, but rather doing that transformation within and really embodying that feminine power, so that we can become magnets for that. We can activate that in the world, and we can start to use this incredible energy that's available to us to circulate it into the world and create a lot of healing and reconnection. And these feminine values, they are values of community, of connection, of balancing, of bringing things back to their most natural state. And that is something that we have an incredible potential to do as creatives, whether we do it intentionally or whether we do it kind of like accidentally just by being ourselves. That is the wonderful thing, because as creatives, we get to be ourselves, and by being ourselves, we are activating creativity in others. That might be through creating art, that might be in just expressing ourselves in our daily lives, setting clear boundaries, being authentic to who we really are, dressing and talking and acting in the way that feels most authentic to us. That is a beautiful activation for the people around us. This is how we transform the world. It is an inner job. In order to take advantage and to be able to really tap into that feminine energy, we need to value it and we need to trust it. So first of all, the valuing is something that needs to be the suppression and the devaluation of feminine energy is something that we need to excavate from deep inside of us. It is something that we often feel a lot of emotion and sadness and rage from being suppressed in our feminine and not being honored and nurtured and not being given the opportunity to be our full expressed feminine. But here's the thing. The reality is that we are also doing it to ourselves. It's not just the world that we live in that doesn't support the feminine. We are stopping ourselves. And so we need to learn to find value in those feminine traits that exist within us. And we need to trust ourselves and trust ourselves in our feminine, in our intuition, in our ability to find stillness, to find rest, and not go out and do all the things and the actions that we believe will get the results, but rather embody it. That is the feminine power way, is to fully embody the energy instead of trying to do it in a masculine way. That's where that balance comes into play, when we can really make peace with all of the aspects of ourselves, but value and trust the parts that we have not been taught to. We need to relearn this as creatives. Another aspect of this energy of abundance and creation is the understanding that it is give and take. It comes and goes. That symbol of infinity is showing us that again and again. Nothing is ever lost. Everything is recreated, repurposed, reused in a wonderful way. So we need to be able to let go of things in order to bring back something. That figure eight, that movement of come and go, that energy flow is also very symbolic of karmic energy and power. And I know when we talk about karma, a lot of people get a little bit caught up in fear, because we talk about karma in that in the sense of, like, if you do something wrong, the universe is going to come at you and it's going to punish you. Honestly, from a spiritual perspective and an energetic perspective, that is not my understanding. I work with people on a deep soul level, and what I've always noticed is that we choose intentionally the experiences that we have. And I know that that can be really triggering if you've had some really hard experiences, and I don't want to take away from that. I think it's very important to witness people in what they have experienced. But the bigger picture is always that on a soul level, they wanted to learn something. They wanted to deeply experience something and integrate it. And the best way to learn is through experience. We don't integrate wisdom through reading books. We learn it through life experience, right? And so on a soul level, our soul gives us these little challenges throughout our lives for us to grow and to embody and to remember who we are and who we came here to be through these experiences. We always get to choose how we take the experience and we transmute it into something else. But with that energy of karma, there is very much this understanding that we need to give out to receive back. So the energy of abundance is not about us sitting here and just going like, okay, I want. We need to give, we need to reciprocate. If you've ever noticed, some of the most abundant people are some of the most generous people, because they trust that energy is coming back to them. So they are able to share, they are able to give. And so every investment that we make of our time, our energy, our focus is something that is sent out into the big energy of the universe and comes back to us in a different form, in a different way, but in a way that is transmuted and regenerative and purposeful and really helpful to our own growth and our own evolution. So I'm a great believer in exchanging, giving before you take, and allowing yourself to receive as well. Sometimes if we don't respect that balance, we can be over givers and we don't allow ourselves to receive. So that comes from, that worthiness and all of that. So we need to understand that as we give, we are worthy of receiving as well, and be open and receptive to that. So there's a lot of healing and a lot of awareness that goes into this work. But when we go deep into it, it is so profound and transformative. And it really changes our whole outlook on life and the level of joy and abundance and purpose and connection that we are able to create in our lives. And I really believe that that is a definition of success. It's not what you have, but it's how you experience life. And when we tap into creative flow, when we allow ourselves to give and receive abundance and be in that flow that is absolutely our natural state, life is just magical. So if this resonates, if this is something that you want to explore, that you want to understand, and you really want to integrate within yourself, I invite you to check out my program, Conscious Creator. This is a mentorship a beautiful journey that we can go on together to really excavate everything that you are not meant to be carrying and that you are meant to understand on a soul level, so that you can elevate your life and really make the most of this one precious experience where you get to be you with these very specific skills and energies that you have to give to the world. Ultimately, I want more creatives to get out of their own way so that they can bring their beautiful energy and gifts and authentic selves to the world. This quote really resonates with me. If you are not living out your purpose, there is a hole in the universe where you are meant to be. So I invite you to check out the link below, see if it resonates. And if you enjoyed this content and you would like to hear more about how you can get out of your own way as a creative, I would love nothing more than to support you. So please hit the like, share, subscribe buttons to make sure that you don't miss out on any of the free content that I'm sharing around here. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Mwah.